Wow, we've got one already. Hello. That is quite an achievement. Let me just get the other monitor running. Come on. So, welcome back to another Spitfire build. It's only going to be a short one because somebody's coming to pick me up and take me out for a couple of hours, which would be nice. So it will only be a short one. There we go. I've got the monitor up. I'm just going to move the screen over because it's a lot easier for me to see on the big one. There we go. And just get rid of that. No. Come on, how do I get rid of that? Exit. There we go. Right. Yes, so as you'll know, if you've been following my channel or you've been in the sort of Facebook group and you've been looking at that, you'll know where we left off in episode 22. We were just having problems fitting the engine. Now then, a lot has happened since then. In terms of the build, I've progressed quite a bit, mainly because I managed to do the work that I was going to do. I was going to fit that engine and get it in the cowling and that. But once I'd done that and I was ready for the next step to come on live and carry on with the build, the plane got knocked off a tool shelf, crashed to the floor, and it literally broke into pieces. When I say broke into pieces, I don't mean that pieces that were glued on broke. I mean the actual plastic fractured, and the tail section was over here, and it was all jagged. And it's taken me a considerable amount of time to get that back. Now then, I've got it back, and the only other thing I then done was go on and put some paint on it, because I didn't think that anyone would just want to watch me paint, because it's quite a big plane. So anyway, we're back. We're going to have a look at it now, and we're nearly there. We are really nearly there. So I'm going to flip this down. I've given up with the mini cam for now. And this is where we're at. So basically this back end here was all broken off from about sort of here. If you can see the crack line on that side if you look very, very closely. So it sort of snapped above this and came round and then came down and like that. And then I put on the paint, so underneath is like that. I just it's had a gloss coat on the bottom just to protect it. I'm about to put I was getting ready to put this stripe on here, but I need a top coat on here before I can carry on. And it's just basically touching up and things like that now. So I was getting ready to, I just sprayed so I put this together. Simple. It's not glued or anything at the moment. Just pop that together. And I sorted out I think I showed doing this in another episode, but we filled the holes in the propellers and we sanded them down. So they're ready to be painted in black with yellow tips, and these that's going to be a silver. This is going to be a silver color. This is going to be the color it is now, but I dozed off while I was spraying this, and you can see that a load of paint pooled. It will. You can see where I dozed off and just sort of left the spray brush stationary, and it's done that. So I've got to sand that back and probably respray that. So that's where we're at. I've also got to put some pigments on the exhausts, and just generally going around touching up here and there, little bits and bobs, and that's what I'm doing. Oh, the other thing I've got to do, that I do want to try and do this live if I can, I've got to make a new wheel for the back. So I'm actually going to try and 3D print a wheel. It will be my first thing that I've created and printed. I've never done anything before. Obviously, I've painted other people's creations, but this will be new to me, so I've got to do that. I'll probably do that live and screen share the software as it's being done. So first of all, let us see on the smooth side if we can. No, we don't want that. We want our special bit of kit that we got. Bear with me while there it is. And we also want the fairly scrub that off of there. I'll have that one on and see how that goes. So we're just going to swap these because this is quite harsh, this strip. Just going to pop that on over there. This will be far easier to sort this out. So just, because I'm sure many of us have come up to this before and found that we've got a lump in the paintwork, and there's nothing that you can do apart from sand it back, really. Be careful. I mean, wet sanding would be better, but just keep turning it. Yeah, gone too harsh there. That's what you've got to try and avoid, the where it breaks through the paintwork, like that. Might have avoided that actually if I'd wet sanded. I do it's dreadful for this. I give advice to people on the best method to use, and then don't actually use that myself. It's very poor judgment on my part. I apologise. It's just something I'm going to have to try and improve upon next year. Pressed down too hard on that, I did. That's the trouble there. There we go. It's slowly, the water's reacting with the paint, just softening it up a bit. Let's see if I can just... actually, that would make a damn good looking spinner with that blended at the tip like that. I might have found one of those happy one of those happy mistakes. Just trying to think if that might put a bit of silver on there. That might look like a worn spinner. Right, I'm going to leave that to dry and see how that looks. You never know. Right, so the next thing I want to do before anything else is let's get a top coat. Let's get some top coat on here so that we can put some oil wash down. So I'm going to use Gauzy. Hi, Jan. Sound is doubling up. What, I don't understand what that is, Mark. Sound is doubling up. What is it? They're an echo. So I'm using this. Make sure the needle is free moving in the airbrush. Yep. Make sure it's still clean in there. Yep. Echo. Right. Don't think there's anything I can do from this end. Let me see. Jan doesn't have an echo. I don't think it's my fan, but I'll turn my fan off just in case. Let me... No, everything's okay here. Is it still there? Right, Rob's got no echo either, Mark. I sent you a message as well, Mark, earlier on through Messenger about the other was it Wednesday night? You mentioned you had an extra tester. So anyway, I'm going to spray the top of this. It's just going to be out of view. I haven't got the extra camera set up, unfortunately, but it's not going to take me long. I will still be able to hear you because I'm not opening the spray booth up fully. Just need to put a glove on. Okay, Matt. He's just said he's going to restart his PC. Right. So, just go over here. Let's try and get a decent-ish coat on the top. So I'm just, it doesn't sound like the air's on. It is on. Just spraying lightly, probably about 20 psi, I guess this is at. I might need to up it just a little bit. There is, of course, other areas that need to be painted on the Spitfire. The yellow strip on the front of the wings will have to be done. So what I'm doing is by putting this down, I'll just show you, I can put that yellow strip down there and those red boxes, and then if there's any error, I can literally just wipe it off with a damp cotton bud without risk ruining any work I've done underneath. Yeah, I need to turn that up a little bit. I'm not getting. Yeah, it's just under 20 actually. It's amazing how just a couple of pounds of pressure makes all the difference. Nearly done. I'm not going to be able to get all the way down the fuselage because I haven't got anything to hold it at the moment. First one down, leave that for a few minutes, and then I'll go back and just put another one over the top quickly. But so I went with a mottling effect. I tried to go for a mottling effect on the Spitfire. I don't know if that's coming through very well. Let me just try and lift. I haven't done this back bit while I'll sort that out soon. You can probably see it better on the sides where I've gone for the obviously it's a lot more, you can see it more on the sides, but I'm going to paint a light smoke coat over here, and obviously there'll be some like a sooty type effect. That's what I'm going for. So I deliberately wanted the side to look a bit dirty, if you like, is what I'm going for. And then some mottling in the greens, you can see. That's what I aimed for. It was all done freehand. And so that solved it. Excellent. So as I don't know whether you caught my message earlier, Mark. I sent you a message about the tester that you were getting rid of, or you had a spare one that you were getting rid of. I'll speak to you about that separately. Right, so just checking the time because we're okay at the moment. 22 minutes. So dries fairly quick, this gauzy. Very, very quick, in fact. Yeah, it's almost ready for the next coat, so to speak. So it's still not coming out too fast. Just turn that up another 5 psi. So then in a minute we're going to look at getting these propellers sprayed. We're going to spray them in steel first, I think. Yeah, and we might have a go with the chipping fluid on that one. So I'm just going to spray a coat over this now. This will be quicker than the last one. I always find when spraying, especially when spraying wings, try and spray as though the airflow would go over it, and try and keep everything to go in the one direction. I don't know whether it makes a difference, but that's just the way I like to do it. Same on the fuselage from the front. There we go. And I'm just going to put the extractor on quickly. Ooh. So we just pop the extractor on there briefly. And have a look at the finish there. I've got a bit of something going on there that I'm not exactly sure about that. I might have to sand that back a bit. That's okay. Yeah, we may need to do a little sand back, but I'll probably leave that till the end before we put our final coat on, or before the decaling goes on. Actually, I'll do it then. Dries ever so quick. Fortunately, I can hold the bottom because it just gets over this tail end. There we go. Let's just get some cleaner in the airbrush. Look at that. Right, so the next thing we want to do is let me just check the message there. Yes, it was 501 actually, but somebody's dropped out. I had a look at the views on last Wednesday's show, and I must have peed somebody off because I've got 8 negatives and was it 8 negatives and 3 positives? You know, there you go. Take the highs with the lows with the highs. Can't do much about it. Is what it is. So, yeah, but broke 500. Really pleased. I mean, I think the next big milestone for me is probably 750. Most people would think that it's automatically 1,000, but I'm going to 750 would be a big boost for me. Just trying to get rid of the excess out of it. You know, I think I've cleaned that out, and look, I'm just going to show you. So I've put some cleaner in. This happens quite a lot. I don't know whether it happens with other people, but that's clean. That's coming out perfectly clean. So I should look, not a spot in there. You can even see down there. Get rid of all that out of there. So let's have a look. By rights now then, this should be spotless in here. Let me just pop that over there. And this happens to me with whatever cleaner I use. So this is not a cleaner thing. You watch it; it's actually going to be spotless in here. Just pop that off of there. Nozzles come out. Push that forward. So I don't know. It's not bad. I'll give it that. It's not bad. It's not great though. You know, you can see the little deposits in that, and it's these little bits that build up in the nozzle and stop it from working. So, you know, people come on when and they say, oh, my airbrush is spitting, or, you know, it's doing this or doing that, and I can't spray right. And you'll often hear people say, well, give it a clean. And the first thing they'll say is, I've already cleaned it and it's spotless. Well, yeah, you know, and they take it as an affront when you say, well, just take it apart and have a look, because it might not be as clean as you actually think it is. And they get offended. And then they'll take it apart, and some people are honest and they'll say, yeah, it is actually dirty. That's working better now. Others won't be. They'll say, no, it's spotless in there. And I don't know. There's no way of knowing whether it is or it isn't. But it's normally, once they say that, and then a few minutes later they go, oh, it's cleared itself now. So I don't know. Always push your needle from the back and out through the front when you're taking these out to have a look. Right, and the other place where it can accumulate, even if you're cleaning regularly, it can accumulate in the nozzle. You need to be very careful with these because the nozzle itself is just brass. This nozzle holder, I guess this is brass. I don't know what the nozzle itself, is made of. Just... Oh, that's somebody at the door. I'm going to have to get that. Find out. Stay in. Stay there. Right, apologies, it's another delivery. Yes, so I tend to use one of these to clean the nozzle out. Need to take care because it can damage the brass on this if you're not careful, and if you shove it down into the nozzle too much, it can flare the end, and then you end up with a leaking, spitting. Actually, I don't think this is too bad. No, let me just look down there. Well, there is something down there because I can't see through it. Just gently push. There we go. I can see it coming out. Tiny little piece came out the end, but makes all the difference. And there we go, that's clear now. And the reason I done that then was because as I was spraying the top coat, I noticed I'd got the pressure up quite high, and it wasn't coming out at the rate it should have been. So I give it a clean, and then I thought, you know what, I think there's still something in there, and that was very fortunate because there was. Now then, I've got very little time left now, so we might have time to start the first bit of the propellers off. Just gently pass that through. Look for it coming out the... Oh dear, look for it coming out the tip. There we go. This wasn't actually meant to be an airbrush cleaning thing. It just turned into one. Right, there we go. Good to go. So what we'll do is I'm going to be spraying, this time I'm going to be spraying using MIG metal acrylic colour, and I'm going to use steel. So I'm going to spray all these propeller bits, and then we're going to go over the top of them separately with a coat of black. At which point we'll let that dry off, and then we'll use some chipping solution, and we'll show how that works, hopefully, for anybody that's never used it before. Actually, including me, I normally use the hairspray method, so this will be a first for me as well. I'm just going to turn the extractor off. I think the driver that made that delivery thinks I've got some sort of drug business going on here, because he was asking questions about the pipe that goes out the window. So I don't know whether he thinks I've got some sort of cannabis farm going in. Right, so I can turn this back now. Hopefully, if I've got this right, I'll be able to turn this back down. Turn it up a bit. It's still not right. There we go. Flip that over. The finish is nowhere near as good as the Vallejo steel, I don't think. Or for that matter, mind you, it will do for the base coat. So that's what we're looking at. I think the pigment is too big in this, too large. It's not bad. Yeah, it's just a bit too, the pigment's a bit too big, I think. But then, you know, it's the price you pay, I think, for acrylics. You're not going to get a lacquer type finish, not with an acrylic. Mind you, Vallejo seems to have done well with it. I do like the Vallejo. I have got some, and I probably should have used them, but I wanted to give the MIG a try and let everyone see what it looks like. Oh, there's the other two propellers. Let's yeah, it's okay. I will say they dry super quick. So I think it's 3 blades, and then this unit here. Right, just pop that on there like that. There we go, they're done. Now what I should do, it's been a long time since I've over a year since I chipped anything, so I shall, when that's dry, I shall put a gloss coat over it, and then I shall put down, now it's at that stage you can either put down some hairspray and then spray your top color over the top, and then using some water just gently pick away at your top coat, or you can just put down your top coat and use chipping fluid on your brush to I think that's how it works. Obviously I'll have to have a look into it, but I haven't read the instructions on the bottle or anything, but that's how I think it would work. We will have a look though. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be today because I've got to get ready to go out. I'll just clean this. While I clean this brush, I'll leave the chat on. And we'll just give this a clean. I hope you've enjoyed what you've what I've done today. I am trying to improve things slowly behind the scenes. I do have a Patreon account. If you like what you see and you want to support the channel, then consider making a donation, or send in kits for review, anything like that. I've passed the point of pride now. So yeah, that would be great. Don't feel you have to though. Everything's always going to be free to watch. I'm never going to hide anything behind a wall and make people pay for it. I don't believe in that. Other people can do it. I've got nothing against other people that do it. That's totally up to them. And I've got some friends that will use that method, but it's not for me. I just want. Is there anything you want to see on the channel, or you've got ideas for the channel, then contact me. If you want to be on the channel, maybe you feel you can contribute and you want to join, you join the nightly hangouts we have, we laugh and joke about, then feel free. You don't have to come to them though. Maybe you just want to join in on the Wednesday show, then yeah, feel free to do that. Just contact me and let me know. Open for any suggestions. And I think that's it. Are they here? No. So I'm just going to quickly go through the chatters or something. Yeah. All right. I'll just quickly whiz through this and then we will call it a day on that. So so yeah, we had that trouble with the sound mark. He restarted his PC. That went okay. congratulations for the 500 subs. Yeah, we've finally done it. Excellent news. Onto the silver play button. Yeah, that's Jan saying onto the silver play button. JS Idaho, hello SprueSurgery and good day to everyone. Yes, good day to you. Thank you. Yes, the Spitfire, I am surprised given what it's been through. It was in the bin for a short period. I did dig it back out and started back on it. Seems your alarm system is working. Yeah, that's Rob V. Respect for that statement. Like any advice on spraying the 30-second B24? It's silver, and I'm dreading it. Yes, it's with the silver finish. I would go for now there's people that disagree with this, but I would go with the traditional gloss black down first. Any sort of gloss black primer. UMP's Badger Stynel Res, it's the same primer. That is superb for that sort of thing. It's got they do a gloss black in that. So put that down first, and then it's a case of putting it down slow, thin layers slowly, and just build it up, and you'll get a really nice finish. I believe that is my lift turned up. Sorry, Rob, I will speak to you about it in more detail another time, maybe on chat later or something if you're about, but I've really got to go now. So thanks to you all, and I look forward to seeing you all later in the week. Bye for now.